You've heard the stories. Empaths get destroyed by narcissists. They stay too long, they bleed too much. But here's what the noise never tells you. When an empath truly, fully, irrevocably leaves, they don't just break the trauma bond. They rewrite the operating manual of their own nervous system so completely that the narcissist literally becomes invisible to them. Not ignored, not suppressed, invisible. Like a radio station you can no longer tune into because your receiver has changed frequencies. There is a 3-step internal sequence. I'm going to walk you through it step by step that only an empath's brain can execute. And once it's complete, the narcissist can stand in front of you, crying, love-bombing, smear campaigning, and your body will genuinely feel nothing. Not hate, not longing, nothing. And that nothingness is the only cage a narcissist cannot open. Stick with me, because this shift is not about time, it's about sequence, and I'm going to show you how it works, starting with the reason all previous escape attempts fail.
Here's the trap laid out plain. Most people leave a narcissist using one of 3 escape hatches: anger, exhaustion, or pure logic. Every single one of those hatches has a bungee cord tied to it. You leave from anger, the rage eventually cools, and what's waiting underneath is the ache of the person you fell in love with. The narcissist knows that, so they send the "I've changed" script right when your fire dies down. You leave from exhaustion, when you just can't fight anymore. That's when the love bombing comes back full blast. Exhaustion drops your defenses. The grand romantic gesture feels like water after a lifetime of thirst, and your exhausted nervous system drinks it no matter what your mind says. You leave logically, read all the articles, can diagnose the cycle like a professor. The body doesn't speak logic. Your nervous system learned to seek safety from the very person who was the threat. That conditioning doesn't unwrite itself because you took notes. It unwrites only through a completely different channel, an empath's channel.
Empaths don't just feel others' feelings. They filter existence through an outward-facing empathy radar. From childhood, many learned that love was earned by managing someone else's emotional weather. So they built a hidden script. Your pain matters. My pain waits. That script becomes the operating system. And a narcissist is literally an expert at installing themselves into that system. They generate distress. The empath soothes. They create confusion. The empath explains. They produce emptiness. The empath fills. It's a perfect, terrible circuit. Now, here's why leaving by anger, exhaustion, or logic fails. None of those touch the script. Anger still directs energy toward the narcissist. Exhaustion still keeps the empath's needs on mute. Logic still argues with a phantom. The script is untouched. And the script whispers, without someone to save, who are you? The empath's true escape doesn't happen by breaking the script. It happens.
The hollow doesn't happen in a fight. It doesn't happen in therapy. It happens on a Tuesday, maybe halfway through a sentence the narcissist is saying, when suddenly, without warning, something in the empath's perception just shifts. They look at the person they've been caretaking, idealizing, forgiving, and they feel emptiness. Not loneliness, not sadness. Something more like a room that was always fully furnished, now suddenly revealing it was just a movie set. The person they thought they were loving had no inside. This is not a mental conclusion. It's a direct sensory experience. And for an empath, someone who navigates the world through the gut-deep felt sense of others' realness, the hollow moment is absolute. You can't unfeel it.
The spell doesn't break because you figured out the trick. It breaks because the illusion's power source, your own projected empathy, suddenly gets unplugged.
Now, most empaths at this point think they're broken. I should feel something. I used to love this person. What's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong. What's happening is your energetic immune system has finally recognized a foreign body, and for the first time, it's not sending empathy outward into a void. It's about to turn that empathy somewhere completely unexpected. The empath has a superpower that was weaponized against them. They can literally co-regulate a dysregulated nervous system. The narcissist came in starving for that, and the empath fed them for months or years. But here is the alchemical trick. That same power can and must be pointed inward. And when it happens, it's not a thought, it's a full body event. I call it the empathy boomerang. The empath, maybe for the first time in their conscious life, sits with their own terrified inner child, not judging it, not fixing it, just being with it, the way they've been with 100 other suffering people. They feel the full weight of the abandonment wound that made them available to the narcissist in the first place. They feel their own grief about all the years they abandoned themselves to hold up someone else's broken ego. This is the moment that changes the nervous system at the root. Here's why the boomerang actually rewires the trauma bond. The bond lived in your body, not your head. Your nervous system was convinced, at a survival level, that the narcissist was your regulator. Their affection was safety, their coldness was threat. You had outsourced your internal felt safety to an unreliable external source. But when the empath gives themselves the regulation they were seeking from the narcissist, when they become the safe attachment figure for their own nervous system, the circuit changes. You no longer need that person to feel okay. You feel okay because your body has learned it can generate that feeling from within. And once your body knows that, the narcissist's power vanishes. They can offer you nothing you can't already provide. A love bomb after that feels like someone trying to sell you a glass of water while you're standing in a freshwater spring. But there's still one more piece required for permanence, because the boomerang heals the addiction, but it doesn't fully dismantle the ghost. That requires grief, a very specific kind of grief that most people skip. That's next. You cannot lose what was never real, but you can grieve it. And that grief is the most paradoxical, disorienting, and freeing thing an empath ever does. Most people who leave a narcissist continue to mourn the good version of that person, the one who showed up at the beginning, the one who seemed to see them, the one they kept chasing. That mourning keeps the door cracked open. It leaves hope alive. And hope, in this dynamic, is the rope they use to reel you back. Empaths who reach this stage go through a unique ritual. They recognize that the person they fell in love with was a co-creation. The narcissist's mirroring plus the empath's own rich, generous imagination. The beautiful lover you thought you had, you were projecting your own capacity for deep connection onto a hollow shell. The personality you missed, it was a carefully studied performance. And the performer isn't coming back because the performer never actually existed. So the empath queeves a fiction. They sit in the strange law. If you recognized that hollow moment, if you felt the flicker of a room suddenly feeling empty, I want you to comment the word hollow below. Let that comment be a marker, a declaration that you're already inside the sequence. And if you're still in the stage before the boomerang, still too tangled to feel anything but pain, hear this. You are not weak. You are at the threshold. The turning inward is coming. It is your birthright. This channel is dedicated to mapping these precise internal shifts, the ones psychology books often skip. Hit subscribe and ring the bell, because the next video picks up exactly where this one left off. The childhood template that built the empath's self-abandonment script, and how to rewrite it so you never hand your nervous system's keys to anyone else again. I'll be waiting for you there.